Right. So you think alone time, in your opinion, is spending time away from your boyfriend, even though it's around other people?
Yeah, well, I mean, I see the merit and I see the differentiation between
Mm-hmm.
alone time and just time being apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when I have a boyfriend, he's usually my friend first. Like my boyfriend now, he and I were friends for 3.5 years before we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would spend a lot of time with him anyway, and funny things or little things about my day, those are always things that I've shared with him. So he's kind of always been my best friend. So when I'm not with him, I don't really engage in that kind of activity with other people, like coworkers or classmates or whatever. I'll talk to them and we'll have kind of a light level friendship and not a deeper level friendship. So
Mm-hmm.
I just feel when I have alone time, it's usually when I'm in the car or because sometimes I run errands for work and sometimes that'll take me 4 hours in a day. And
Okay.
so, I'll still get, a good amount of alone time. Literally, physically alone, no one else there.
Right.
And I have that time to be with myself and be with my thoughts. And I guess it was, a transition for me to, understand that I have that alone time built into my day when we're already apart. And he doesn't, really. Because he has classes, and then he works out with his friend, or he works out with me, or whatever, but he doesn't really have that alone time built in. So it was something we kind of worked through, and I was able to better understand the fact that he needed that time, and it was just hard for me because I felt like it was kind of taking away from time that we could have been spending together.
Mm-hmm.
But especially after we started living together, I started to appreciate that alone time a little bit more when he would go to the gym or he'd go for a drive or, he would just go off and study at the library by himself and I would stay at our apartment and kind of be able to catch up on the stupid shows that I watch and just kind of do what I want to do. Not that I don't do what I want to do when he's around, but kind of that more I do what I want to do when I want to do it. To have that a couple hours a week is kind of nice because I'm usually
Mm-hmm.
the caregiver in our relationship and put his needs above my own kind of thing.
Now, I think that's wonderful that you are very understanding of him and that you understand, how important this alone time is to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only a little wondering, do you feel like he understands you?
I do. It's something that we've kind of worked on in our relationship and we're still working on is he's very logical and very matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be that way, but I think my default is probably more emotional than it is logical. And so sometimes we have errors in communication kind of based around that, where he will say something, not meaning to be hurtful with it or by it at all, but I just kind of take it in a more emotional way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of difficult for him to be able to put himself in my shoes and understand it from an emotional perspective. So that's something that we are always working on, I guess. But he's gotten a lot better at it. But it's still something that every once in a while he'll still hurt my feelings, and I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's fine.
Why is it not a big deal?
I don't know. I just don't want to start a fight.
So would you say that you're happy in this relationship?
I'd say 7 days out of 10, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's probably everybody. You can't have a good day every day. Life is just too messy.
Okay. Now, is he still coming out here for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, he is. He's gonna come for like 5 days, I think.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be good for our relationship. I think it'll be really nice for him to kind of see where I'm living and kind of put faces to names that he's been hearing about, and you know, just have him see my life. Like I'm excited for that because he's a big part of my life, and like all of my friends here have heard about him and know about him and are excited to meet him, and a couple of my other friends from Texas are also going to come with him.
Oh, that's special.
Yeah, so we're going to have a whole Friendsgiving, so it'll be fun, and I think a couple of my friends who live here might come also, just like not going home. Some of them live kind of far away, so they're just going to stay because with grad school it's kind of hard to like leave anywhere for any extended period of time because you always have stuff to do. So they would just kind of rather stick around here and do what we're going to do rather than having like the added pressure of trying to travel and all that good stuff. So I think there'll be quite a few people like on actual Thanksgiving Day. So I'm excited about that, but also a little bit stressed about like cooking for that many people. So it'll be interesting.
Are you doing all the cooking?
Yeah, I think my boyfriend will probably help out a little bit. He has kind of a specialized diet and can't process protein, so I have to like cook like separate stuff for him and then stuff for everybody else. So he can't like have meat, or he's basically like vegan. Yeah, because he was born with this blood disorder when he was a baby, so it's something that like I'm really in tune with, and I know how to like cook for him, so it's not going to be that big a deal. It's just going to be like a little bit challenging to do a whole Thanksgiving meal and then an Adam-sized Thanksgiving meal kind of thing.
I think what's really wonderful is that you really really consider the other person, which I think is really great.
Thank you. I try my best.
Do you feel like your boyfriend and your friends do the same for you? That they take you into consideration when planning things and understanding you?
Not to the extent that I do with them, but this has kind of been something that's like rung true in my whole life, I guess, that I don't hold other people to the same standard that I hold myself to, if that makes sense. Just because, I don't know, I just don't. Have you ever taken like the Enneagram, or do you know what the Enneagram is?
No, I don't think so.
It's like a personality test that there's I think 9 different personality types, 1 through 9, and I'm like a number 3, which is like a helper. So you get like the most like fulfillment and enjoyment out of life by helping other people. And all of my friends are not that. None of my friends are that, and my boyfriend is not that either. He's number 1, which is like the achiever. So like what's most important, what gives him the most fulfillment is like achievements in life. So like being the best at school, or being the best at his job, or making good ground in his like workouts, or whatever it is. So he's kind of more, I guess, like goal oriented, and I'm still goal oriented, but I'm more people goal oriented.
I understand that, and I think that's great. I can definitely see that. As you were saying that, you're going to do all this cooking for all these people. Sounds like it's going to be quite a crowd. I'd be pretty nervous.
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous. There'll hopefully be a lot of wine to help me get through the day. But I have a like backup meal that I'm gonna prepare probably 2 or 3 days before and have just in case things go terribly awry. And then if they don't, then I have leftovers, for the rest of the week. So it won't be a waste of effort.
How do you handle if things go wrong?
Honestly, I get pretty stressed out, like visibly stressed out about it. I'm going to try really hard not to, especially with like all of these people coming from out of town. But I really internalize stress
Mm-hmm.
all the time. I don't deal with it outwardly very well, and that's something that I'm trying to work on. But like in my mind, there are like little check boxes of like things that could go wrong and things that stress me out. And like once I get to that little point and things go right or I've handled it, then I like check that off and then like my stress reduces a little bit. So like for example, like I'm gonna be stressed like until I like actually pick him up at the airport and get all of his stuff. Like that's a checkbox. And then having us be able to get everything on the train and like successfully navigate back home, like that's another little checkbox. So it's kind of like these little steps that are kind of stress inducing in my mind, and I try and compartmentalize them to
No.